I think there are other issues with Xhaka. I think there are these the sustainability rules. They would have been.
Team, they have a striker that before the club friendlies starts, we're going like 10 goals. Okay? We are going like at least he will score 10 goals. Come on. When Harry Kane was still in Tottenham, every season, we already know he's going to give us like 10 goals.
Welcome back again. Yay! We have our Richard back. Richard,
Sonny, how are you now? Chioma, how are you?
Good to see you back on the show.
I'm good. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
A few of our regular viewers have been asking about you. Hey, not to see Richard. Richard, he's been busy chasing money and other things.
Sonny, it's good to be back.
Disappointed Arsenal didn't win the league last season, so.
But you know, I wasn't expecting us to win. I said it from the beginning of last season. What I wanted were a couple of
inside you, being an Arsenal blood through and through. I know you still wanted us to win somehow.
Yeah, I did. There's no doubt about that. I wanted it, but I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our viewers, we are back again today talking about Arsenal. We've not really talked club football since the summer. And like we promised, every summer we come here, look at what the clubs are doing, transfers, departures, incomings, structures, and stuff. Yesterday was United, today we're doing Arsenal. And no other people to do that with me than Richard and Chioma. Of course, Chioma, Ubum, you guys know, is in Nigeria right now, handling the Coast City International Tournament in Enugu. Okay. Hugely involved in it. I think he's the project coordinator of that event. So he's not here today. So me and Richard and Chioma are going to do justice to this one. And before we start, don't forget, if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. Our viewers support us on this mission and help us force Google to get this content out there for everybody to see and enjoy. Guys, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Arsenal's recent resurgence has elevated expectations for the club. Yeah, while the ultimate goal is to eventually win the league and probably Champions League, there are still other areas that the club have to continue to improve on. So we're going to look at all these happenings. A brief look at what happened last season, what Arsenal has done so far this summer, and of course, going forward, what we expect to happen. We know one of our own, as popularly said, Emile Smith-Rowe, has just left with Fulham. There's going to be a discussion. Nketiah and Reece Nelson most likely are going to join suit, and we expect Arsenal to also make some transfers. So we look at all this and we do justice to them and we'll go from there. So let me ask you guys, I don't know who wants to go first. Last season, Arteta gave it a push. Some people blame him for us not winning the league. Maybe some say it's Aston Villa. You know, some people this week, one of the groups I belong, said letting Xhaka go was part of the problem, that Xhaka declared probably by giving us now the league and stuff like that. So, in retrospect, in hindsight now, how do you, after your reflection, do you think anybody should be blamed about not winning the league last season, or is it just part of the growth? You have to learn 1 or 2 seasons when you're equipped, then you go into the season where you actually win the league. Richard, let me start with you.
You want to start with me? Okay. Well, both of the factors you mentioned are relevant. That Aston Villa result was crucial, because when you think about it, it was 3 points lost. If we had got those 3 points, we would have been 1 point ahead of City. So, I mean, quite apart from the psychological impact, I mean, there's a factual basis for that assumption. 3 points more and we would have been champions. What you said about Xhaka is very interesting, because if you look at it sort of superficially, our midfield would have been so much stronger if Xhaka had stayed. There are two reasons for that. One, the way Rice was playing in the second half of the season, maybe they would have started that from the beginning, in that he would have been further up the pitch and Xhaka would have been the deep-lying midfielder, a holding midfielder. So it would have been, ideally, I guess it would have been Xhaka, Odegaard and Rice. Also, there would have been, I think, the Xhaka as a deep-lying midfielder would have been would have given the team more balance, because he's predominantly left-sided, whereas Declan Rice, at least he favors, he's sort of everywhere, but at least he favors his right side, he's right-footed. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's logical that the sort of back line, if you like, the back line of midfield would have been more balanced.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I agree with you, but I think there are other issues with Xhaka. I think there are these the sustainability rules. They would have been, if he had stayed, it would have been more difficult to stay within them, simply because of salary. He was one of the higher earners at Arsenal. So I think one of the reasons why they let him go, because if you think about this, nobody ever says anything about Arsenal even being on the borderline of those rules.
Exactly. We're not of our financials, yeah.
Yes, we're not one of the clubs that they talk about. And I think it's because they are very, very cognizant of that fact. So I think there are other issues actually in play. Yes, it would have been good for Xhaka to have stayed, but it's not as clear-cut as we on the outside
I'm going to make a comment on that when you guys finish, because last summer, in Arsenal fan event at LA, I was with Edu, Repalo, Gilberto, Lauren. There was even actually an interview. I interviewed Lauren and we asked Edu this question about Xhaka. I'm going to talk about it, when Chama responds. Chama, so in retrospect, in hindsight, it's always easy to look at things, after they have happened. What have you come to conclusion at the reason why maybe Arsenal did not win the league last season, and touching base on the Xhaka issue as well? You're mute.
Yeah, maybe unmuted. Yeah, sorry about that. So I was just listening to Richard, analyzing the would have been impact of Xhaka, and on the salary issue, on what he was going to bring to the team. But as a fan, I felt like his time was done, because he was going through this thing with the fans, and I felt like psychologically, like in here, he wasn't in Arsenal anymore. It was always going to be a back and forth with him. I feel Arteta, those last season, like those last moments of Xhaka in Arsenal, was just Arteta being a wonderful manager, managing him not just on the pitch but off the pitch, because emotionally he was having some difficult times. I don't know if we heard about he was getting into it with some fans, and he wasn't feeling very appreciated. He was feeling not himself anymore. Yeah, if he had stayed back, he would have helped Rice, he would have helped Rice get more settled, and we would have gotten more than 90 from Rice, if you ask me, from my own point of view. But I don't think I want to blame his exit on why we didn't win. Yeah, because we did it before. We were close. He was there when we weren't close. Okay? And then it was a couple of games, the crunch time games we didn't make happen. And then this season, it was hard work. Thank God we didn't suffer that much injury. Okay. But then those crunch games, a few of the crunch games that we needed to make, we still didn't make. I think it was Aston Villa that ruined it for us, maybe. Yeah. So I don't want to blame the falling behind on the champion, on the race, on anyone's exit, or I just think it's an inside thing, and we're working on it. We keep saying Arteta doesn't repeat his mistakes, but I think this third time for me on this championship race, this is my third time with him, and it's supposed to be very charming. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on both sides, but like Choma said, I'm not going to. Let's not forget that it was 2 points that made us lose the league. So,
yeah,
was that what Xhaka was going to bring? I don't think so. I think losing the league is just part of the growth. An experienced coach in the person of Jurgen Klopp had the same process with Guardiola. It took him 2 years of challenging, because he was 4 years before he won the league. The first 2 years, we tried to build the squad. The third year, he challenged, he didn't win. The next one, the second year, he challenged, he didn't win. The next one, he challenged. The third one, he won the league with just 2 points. And I said something yesterday, viewers, people who have watched the United analysis, I mentioned something. I said that one of the most difficult things for clubs to do that we fans don't pay attention to is to rebuild a squad. And the only two clubs that have done justice to this in recent times is Manchester City and Real Madrid. They are the only two clubs that have managed to somehow recreate or rebuild their squad while the squad is still on high and still stay on top. Other clubs, Barcelona is suffering it right now. After Xavi them left, Messi left, eventually they have Messi, Neymar, Suarez. They're still struggling to build that squad. Bayern Munich is having the same problem. Manchester United, of course, we know. Chelsea is suffering it right now. So it's not always easy to rebuild a squad. So City is very, very strong. And going toe-to-toe with them, just 2 points, losing out in the league, I don't think it was mainly because of Xhaka. There is a learning to be learned. And like Choma mentioned, Arteta said that this summer that there are some fine margins that we fell short. And they're looking at all those fine margins and they're working on it. So, and I trust that. Then on Xhaka, what Edu said in last year's summer, we asked him that question, why now? The Xhaka is like on his prime. Why did Xhaka go? He didn't really give us a straight answer, but he mentioned some things which make sense to me. Like Choma mentioned, Xhaka grew up in Germany. His family from Germany. It looked like there was a pressure from his family to go back to Germany, because that's where they are really from. That's why his career and they know him there and stuff. Xhaka's age, at the point where he was, Arsenal was going to offer him 4 years contract. So the offer he got from the Leverkusen, he mentioned it, was also another big issue for Arsenal. Arsenal didn't want Xhaka to go at any, if you remember, that was one of Arteta's first project when he arrived as the coach, to make sure Xhaka did not leave Arsenal. There's no other reason why we are even having this conversation now, apart from Arteta being the one that insists that Xhaka goes nowhere at a time that nobody in Arsenal wants Xhaka to stay. Nobody, including the fans. So there's no way he would have let him go at that time that he was almost on his peak. And actually, if you remember last season, we did a stream and I told you, it looks like Arsenal fans we are hard on Xhaka who forgot because of his physical presence that at the time we were on his back, Xhaka was just 23 years. He was still maturing. So when we now got Xhaka, the mature Xhaka, he started showing us what and Arteta played him where suits him. Then, of course, like Choma mentioned, the weight of all his emotional trauma that he has gone through being an Arsenal player came to his face and also came along and promised him that he's going to be integral to what he's going to do in Leverkusen, which he did. So it was difficult for Arsenal to compete with that situation. And the only way was to let him go. So, Richard, I see your hands up.
So I'm wondering, so what you're saying is that Was he in the last year of his contract when he was sold? I'm not sure.
He had 1 year left.
Okay, so that is also a factor.
Yes.
But why I even had my hands up was there was something you said about you were comparing Madrid and Manchester City as regarding their ability to continue revamping their respective squads.
Mm-hmm.
I even think that Madrid are I know we're not talking about other clubs here.
Yeah.
I even think that Real Madrid are way ahead of everybody in that regard.
Look at exactly. But City still tries.
But they're not in the same league as City. As Madrid.
No. Considering where they're coming from, no, what I mean is, I'm not saying that the same league. What I mean is, City has done a good job of not losing their quality. If as players come and go, when they need to let a player go, they're not emotional about it. They let you go, they replace you, and the team is still strong. At least if they've not gotten to Real Madrid level, but they have not lost anything from their own standards. That's what I mean by that.
Okay, fair enough. That was basically why I had my hand up. But I know we're not talking about we're talking about Arsenal, so sorry about that.
Then another, like I said, I mentioned there are going to be elements to sustain this upward trajectory that Arsenal has. There are going to be key elements that needs to be looked at, not just winning trophies. Winning trophy is one of them. Arsenal needs to start to win trophies, the domestic trophy, maybe the league as well. Then there's issue of youth development. There's issue of transfers. Sending new players to strengthen the squad is as important as selling as well, because like as you mentioned, Arsenal is in a very, very good and solid financial state. They can't lose it by just signing players and not making good sales. It looks like we have a valuable squad now that where we can actually sell a player, make 30, 40 million here and there to revamp the squad. There's also the issue of tactical evolution of the team. And I want to ask you, looking at it now, I know Arteta, this is one of the things that I know he really picked up from Pep. Pep always shows up every season and touch something on his team. If you remember, season before last, Arsenal was playing heavily on the wings. Most of our goals came from Martinelli and Saka. Last season, he brought Declan Rice. They used, what's his name? Kai Havertz differently from the way he used his use. So he touched the dynamics of the team. This season, because in EPL, teams figure you out. What do you think, based on what we did last season, what do you think needs to be done in terms of the way we play? Adjustment here and there to make Arsenal, more predictable again this season. Richard?
I think Arsenal's problems, maybe problems is too strong a word, but I don't think teams have figured us out. Because even if you look at that last friendly, Arsenal actually were the better team in that match. We lost that match we lost that match because of the age-old problem of a lack of we were not clinical with our chances. We had four better chances than the chances Liverpool had that they actually converted. If Salah was in our team, we would have won that match 5-2. That's the truth. So what frustrates me about the current situation at Arsenal is I'm not paid what Arteta is paid. And I can see what the problems are. So I'm wondering, I know that the most difficult thing in the world is to put the ball in the goal. It's which is why everybody pays so much more money for proven goal scorer. But it's been so obvious to us. Let me tell you, I like Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is not a goal scorer. Kai Havertz, for every 2 chances he converts, he will miss 8. It's not an exaggeration. Go and watch tapes of the last Euros. His finishing was abysmal. I'm sorry, it was horrific.
Yeah, I saw it, but Richard, sorry to cut you short there. In the last 14 games Kai Havertz played for Arsenal, he has 9 goals and 6 assists.
How many chances did he have?
I don't care.
Yeah, but you see, if Haaland although he too is profligate. But I mean, if some okay, maybe Haaland is a wrong comparison. But there are so many. Today, I saw something. I'm sure you've seen it because you're always ahead of these things. Somebody like João Pedro, that Brighton forward. He's actually quite, or has been. He's only been doing it for one season, but he's very clinical. He's very, very clinical. If we had had him in our attack rather than say, I won't say Havertz because he's a different type of player, but somebody like Gabriel Jesus. If we had João Pedro rather than Gabriel Jesus, maybe we'd be saying, maybe we'd have seen a different outcome. It's possible.
Okay.
So my point. Sorry, Sonny. My point, basically, to sort of just finish what I'm trying to, my argument, if you like, is that we're profligate. We don't take our chances. If we had somebody that was clinical, even not even to the degree of somebody like Salah, or somebody like or Son of Tottenham, or somebody like that. Just somebody that's a bit more clinical than either Havertz or Gabriel Jesus would be. It would be an entirely different story. I don't have a problem with the way we are playing. I have a problem with the fact that we don't take our chances. Okay. And Arteta has said it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so let me draw your mind to something. 2 seasons ago, not the one that does the season before, Martinelli got 16 goals. Odegaard got 16 goals. Saka got 17 goals. That was what pushed up the title challenge that we had. And that is how Arsenal plays. You mentioned Salah right there. Salah is not a striker. He scores from the wings. Ronaldo scores from the wings. Most of these players that propel these teams, even Mbappe plays from the wing. There's less supply of strikers out there in the market right now that you can say for the next 3 seasons he's going to give 25 goals every season. There's none. Even Osimhen that people are making noise, he did it 3 seasons ago. Last season, I'm not sure he scored 10 goals or maybe 14 or something. So and then last season, Martinelli all of a sudden just disappeared. He got 4 or 6 goals last season. So you're not going to blame that on Arteta. The way the team has been set up, our goals are supposed to come from the wings. Kai Havertz is supposed to bring these guys into play. And if you also reflect very well, last season, Saka scores 16 goals, 17 goals. But he missed a lot of chances as well. Martinelli missed a lot of chances. It was Trossard that stepped up. So can you imagine if Martinelli had gotten 15 goals last season, Trossard got what he got, and Odegaard, I think he just got 8 goals or 9 goals last season. Maybe does 15 as well. Saka does 20, and Kai Havertz does 12. We win the league. So the way Arsenal plays, I don't think it's a matter of having that striker. If you have a striker that can score goals, it will help. But
I don't even think it's not that we don't have people that can put goals. From what Richard is saying, it's not like we don't have people that can put goals in the goalposts, but like we need to have somebody. You know how a season is starting. You know how people how these things work. It's statistics. Man City as a team, they have a striker that before the club friendlies start, we're going like 10 goals. Okay? We are going like at least he will score 10 goals. Come on. When Harry Kane was still in Tottenham, every season, we already know he's going to give us like 10 goals. Do you understand? Yeah. But it's not that we don't have people that can score. What Richard is saying is that finishing. We're having a Darwin Nunez case on our hands with our guys.
But the problem is that he affects the dimension or dynamics of the team. If you have a player, for a player to give you that goal, those number of goals, go and watch these teams that have these strikers. The way they play, those players don't do much in build-up. They don't do much. They walk around.
They just wait.
They walk around the 18-year ball. Like someone like Ivan Toney. Somebody said something last week, and which was very interesting. Ivan Toney doesn't suit us now because is more of a focal point. And if those balls come, he will fight the defenders and he will win his battles, he will score goals. But again, Arsenal now have to worry how to build up until that point. You see the difference? So that's what we're discussing here. So if we want that kind of striker, then we have to adjust our midfield, not adjust our wings to suit that kind of striker.
I don't
because the way we are set up,
I don't
favors the wingers. And to be honest, we blame Kai Havertz, we blame Jesus, they frustrate us, yes. But we should also pay attention to Martinelli, Saka, and Trossard, because they also miss chances.
I want to say something on this channel. Whenever you're talking about misses, Trossard is so far away from it. Trossard
is our best finisher, yeah, for sure.
He's a guy to depend on.
He's our best finisher, but he has some horrendous misses last. I can't remember the game. There was some misses that you say you did that. Don't forget about Jesus. Richard, I see your hand.
Let's not forget about
it. See, Jesus again, for me, is a conundrum. Why did I say that? If you go to the channel as well, there are some of those shots that we uploaded there. There was one press that Arsenal did United. United permitted the ball to us and kicked throwing. That's what Jesus brings. So, like Richard said, putting the ball in the net is not easy because there are so many dynamics that you have to set up to lead to that. Unfortunately, everything about the team is good until that point. And once you drop Seaman there or Haaland, then those partnerships that Jesus goes to the right to form Saka or goes to the left to form Martinelli, you lose it. So how do you now do those build-up and create those chances for us? That's the question, Richard.
We'll rebuild. We'll find a way around it. How about?
That's what I'm discussing here. I want to hear it. Richard, let me know how we're going to do. How we're going to.
You change your.
This problem is it wasn't a problem for City, but I think that's why Guardiola is sort of far ahead of everybody else. He envisaged it. So what he did, and he saw that Haaland was the best young goal scorer in Europe. He bought him, and he incorporated him into the way City play. I mean, everybody criticizes Haaland that he's not involved in City's build-up. But look at how many goals he scored over the last 2 seasons. Look how many goals he has scored for Manchester City in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. They've won the Premier League on both occasions. He scored over 50 goals in those 2 seasons.
56.
So exactly. No, I'm talking about the Premier League now.
Okay, yeah.
Over those 2 seasons, which is what we are talking about. We're talking about the Premier League.
Yeah.
Are you now going to say because he's not involved in the build-up, he has made City weaker? So I don't understand this argument.
No, Richard. Another thing you have to remember: every team is unique. I just told you that the way we play, we build our goals from the wings. If you remember, the Haaland's first season, the KDB was fit 100%, and he supplied those goals. Last season, that KDB was most of the predominantly absent. Give me the statistics of how many goals Haaland scored. He affected his play. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it cannot be done. What I'm saying that you have to change the dynamics of your team.
Sonny, they changed the dynamics of the team. Okay, with when De Bruyne was injured. Look at how many goals he scored in the Premier. He was still the Premier League's top scorer, and they won the league. So I don't understand the argument.
No, I'm talking about number of goals. You're talking about number of goals. He can score 6 goals in one game. Yeah, it gives you number of goals. How many games did you score?
No.
We're saying the same thing. What I'm saying is, if we bring in a striker, then we have to do a revamp. And I already mentioned it that
I don't agree with you. Not necessarily.
No. Revamp. We have to adjust our dynamics.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I don't agree with you. My argument is that Arsenal creates enough chances to have scored as many league goals as Manchester City last season. That's the truth. I'm not sure of my statistics. Maybe I should have done
I think we even scored more than them. Or if they
we didn't score more than them. We didn't. I'm very sure of that.
Maybe 1 or 2 goals. I'm telling you, that's
not the. Yes, I agree with you. But in the end, if you look at the statistics, that's why their goal difference was, in the end, when the season finished, their goal difference was better. They scored more goals than we did. We conceded fewer. They scored more goals than we scored.
Yeah, I think
that's the truth.
Yeah, they did.
They did. There's no thinking. They did.
But it's not much. The difference wasn't more than maybe 5 goals.
Sonny, can you hear the argument you are arguing? That the difference is not much. I'm saying the difference is the difference between first and second.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference. We need more clinical finishers. Nketiah,
Jesus. There was a time we had we had more goals than City, and they were still on top.
And you know what was happening there?
Yeah.
We were scoring. There was a run of games of about 6 or 7 games early in the year where we were thrashing teams in the Premier League, and we were not conceding.
Exactly.
But you see, the thing is this: you can do that for 4, 5, 6, even 7 games, and you're fine. But you have to be doing it consistently over the course of the season. And what happens is, if you are doing it consistently, by the end of the season, the numbers and your results will bear out the fact that you are doing it consistently. My argument is we were not doing it consistently enough to win the league. And why we were not doing it consistently enough to win the league was the absence of a clinical goal scorer. That is a fact.
Well, I think we're saying the same thing. The only thing I'm saying is, and this is what we're discussing right now, what tactical evolution does Arsenal need to make to get them over the line? That's the topic. And yes, you guys are saying you need to get a goal scorer. And I'm saying, yes, I agree with that. But what happens is that if we have to do that, the way we play right now creates more chances for our wingers than our strikers. So I'm saying that we have to adjust those dynamics and be a little bit more direct to make that striker give us those goals that we want. Because those strikers don't go to the wings to do partnership with wingers the way Jesus and Kahavas do. If you also remember, City that we're using as a yardstick, what happens is once the ball gets to KDB, the next thing he looks up, looking for Kahavas. We don't have that player that does those kind of passes. All the guy is an intricate midfielder that does those short little openings in the 18-yard box for players who are running in. We don't have that midfielder that can measure a 28-yard cross on the head of our striker consistently. We don't. So that's what I'm saying. So if we're going to bring that striker, we're going to have those. We need to have those players that supply those kind of passes that he's going to strive on.
I don't agree.
They can rise every now and then. We don't have a KDB that does that.
Sonny, I don't agree with you entirely. Okay. If we have a target man, somebody that they can aim for, somebody that will win, because even Havertz, as good as he is at certain things, he's as good as a target. He's good. He's a really good target man. But it comes back to what I'm saying. His finishing is just not good enough.
Yeah.
If they I don't believe, to answer your question, you are talking about tactical tweaks that can improve or get us closer to City and win the Premier League. I don't think there's much we can do tactically that's much better than what we are doing, because I think if you look at the stats regarding, which is what I've been saying since we started this program, I don't think there's a massive difference between the number of chances in the 38 games Arsenal played and Manchester City played. That there's a massive difference between the number of chances each team created. The difference is in the number they converted. That's the difference.
They scored 96 goals. Arsenal scored like 91 goals, which is 5.
So that's 5 goals.
5 goals difference.
That's so 5 goals.
If Kahavas and is as woeful as we make it.
Okay, come.
Sonny,
let me say something before I forget my thread. Let me say something before. Listen now. Let me say something before I lose my thread. Compare. You're saying it's 5 goals difference. All right. Yeah. How many goals did Erling Haaland. Compare the number of goals Erling Haaland scored in the Premier League to the number of goals Kai Havertz scored in the Premier League. Compare.
Okay.
Wait, please, just wait. I know that Gabriel Jesus did not play as many games as Erling Haaland. But do you know how many goals Gabriel Jesus? I know this off the top of my head because I was so disgusted by the figure.
5 or 6.
4.
4, yeah.
4 Premier League goals from your centre forward.
Okay, Richard. So what I'm telling you, if you see, remember what I keep saying. I'm not saying Kai Havertz and Jesus are goal scorers. Now, last season, City won the league over Arsenal 5 goals. They scored more 5 goals. And Martinelli, season before, scored 16. The last season, he scored 6 or 7 or 8 goals. So those 5 goals, you can still argue that Martinelli's poor run of form in front of goal cost us the league if you want to go that route. Because Kai Havertz, Jesus will always know that they're not goal scorers. We built at that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The way this team is built to get our goals from the wings. You mentioned Salah. Salah is not a striker. Salah scores from the wings, and this is what Atata has built.
Sonny,
yeah.
You know also Martinelli didn't have a good season for a number of reasons, chief among which was he didn't really have a complete run of games. He was injured, and he really didn't regain his form.
I'm just saying.
Wait now, Sonny, wait now. I think the point I'm trying to make is that you have to factor in all these things to come by a winning team. The point I'm actually trying to make is that if we had had a clinical focal point, be it either Gabriel Jesus or Kai Havertz, and they had given us, really, when you think about it, it's not unreasonable to expect 20 goals a season from your centre forward if you are intending to win the league. Do you agree?
It's not. I agree with you. Yeah, but when I was playing, sorry, Chairman, you're going to come in right now. It's been a while. When I was starting to learn how to play football, playing an academy player as a young man, do you know what one of the things that our coach used to tell our strikers? That the striker that scores goals stays around the box. Because if you run to left, run to right, run back, by the time you get in front of goal, mentally you're tired. Physically, your legs are gone. And this is what happens. So that's what I'm telling you. If you want Jesus and Kai Havertz to get you 20 goals, Ateta has to make them stay in the box and stop going to form partnership with Saka and Martinelli. That's what I'm saying. So, which means we have to change the dynamics of our team. That's my point. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but I'm saying if you want to do that, because these guys, then Jesus goes to the right wing, dribble 3-4 players, runs from there, and somehow finds himself in front of the box, the ball up to him. He's already tired. His legs are gone. That's what I'm saying. So we need to fix the dynamics of the team to make them, okay, you know what? I don't want to see you beyond the periphery. There was an interview of Van Nistelrooy a while ago. I listened to him. He said that you just have to be around the box. Even IRS said it. There was one of the interviews I watched a while ago. He said that you just have to be around where the ball is going to drop. It can't go here. Come and score 25. It doesn't work like that. That's my point. So I'm not saying holding Kai Havertz accountable or Jesus to score 20 goals for us is wrong. But I'm saying if we want that, then we'll have to make them stay where they will score those goals. Which means those partnerships that they go to the wing to form with Saka and Martinelli to help them build play from the wings. We have to change those things. We have to. So I don't know how it's going to. So that's my point. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. So let's say you're concerned to clear out.
No, I was enjoying the back and forth. Reggie, I don't think anything is impossible. Okay? I don't think anything is impossible. The reason why we're playing from wings is because we do not have somebody to finish. If we have someone to finish, like give us 20 goals in a season, we will change our formation for that person and play lone strikers for as long as we can. The normal, usual football formation. The old one that everybody knows. Not now that you're turning right backs to midfield and they will carry ball from the midfield, from the back to the midfield and go and score goal. No. We'll just go back. I feel I mean, this whole talk, I don't want it to be the same.
Yeah, I get you guys, and I think I leave it at that.